22 teams started, just 2 remain, fighting for the lion's share of £3,000 here at EPIC39, and what could be the last CSGO trophy for Epic LAN as well. 7am and the Neighbours, the two clear favourites, I feel like, coming into this tournament, and they're going to be duking it out in not just the final, but a rematch as well.
Yeah, a rematch of the upper bracket final, which was one of the closest games we've seen this entire tournament. Obviously, we've seen some brilliant matches, but a lot of also blowouts with some maps having, well, some best of threes having incredibly one-sided maps, and then the next map will be just a 16-3 blowout. Whereas that game, it was close on both the maps, and it was really enjoyable to watch, and hopefully we see a repeat of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a 2-0 in the upper bracket final, but also the caveat that was a quite long day.
Yeah, it was a long day. So the Neighbours, they themselves, well, put it succinctly, Smoothie had a slumsome start at the racecourse.
Yeah.
So for those who aren't aware, on the first night, the Neighbours, they did an all-nighter. At least 2 of their players did, and it showed in their performance. They're coming in as the favourites in this event for a lot of people. Some people might have predicted them to not win it based on them not taking it seriously, but again, that's the storyline. The only way they lose this is if they don't take this seriously, as if they lose to themselves. That's the only way they don't lose the event, because the firepower on this lineup is incredible. You've got Smoothie, who's played at Majors. You've got Adam and Dobbo, who've played in the likes of Gamer Legion. You've got them Extinct and Bev, who's played in Viperio, who are a team who went to the RMR. They're incredible high-level players, and they all know how to play Counter-Strike. They've played in many mixes and one mixes before. The Neighbours themselves as a core lineup with Smoothie, Extinct and Bev, they won EPIC37, I think it was. So they're no stranger to these finals. They're no stranger to the pressure. And quite frankly, they should be showing a much greater level of Counter-Strike, individually at least, compared to the likes of 7am. But, as we mentioned, that really slow start, we could see cracks in the way they were playing. We could see there was also tensions in the camp. Apparently, Smooth calling instead of Adam. Adam, known as an IGL, he's been an IGL for a long time. Very historied leader in the scene, I'd say. And then Smooth just comes in and says, Adam, no, I'm calling. So there's a little bit of friction there, and we know that from the players, there's going to be a little bit of a low energy in the camp, especially with the fact that they got such little sleep. Their mood is just not going to be great. But today, it did seem like, earlier today, it did seem like they sort of picked things up. They sort of looked a lot more polished, a lot more clean. Again, they are a mixed team, so they're players who don't play together in a team together naturally. They've come into this event for fun, but they looked a lot more polished against next in line. So maybe, just maybe, we can see a slightly more competitive game. Maybe take us to the third map against 7am.
Yeah, and I hope so. And speaking of 7am, they've had a pretty impressive run. They've dropped 1 map only. That was to next in line, who the Neighbours beat this morning. But they've only dropped 1 map. That was Ancient, however, which is their home map.
Yeah.
LVN loves Ancient. He played it 10 times in the last ESEA season. ESEA season 45 main.
He's played it constantly in previous teams as well. He was always first pick it.
Yeah, absolutely loves the map. And so to take that one away, quite a big win. However, they've had absolutely no problems throughout the rest of the tournament. As I said, only dropping 1 map so far. They've been looking tight. They've been looking sharp.
Yeah.
And the key thing as well, what with this being one of the with a newer and less experienced players on the roster, with the likes of Zai, with the likes of Vacancy, not quite played at this level before, and yet they're coming in, and Zai had one of the best performances against 7am in the previous game.
I think one of the themes coming in for 7am is that structure, it's that long term, it's fundamental Counter-Strike, and they're doing things the best way they can. A lot of teams, especially in the UK scene, are famous for not necessarily practicing effectively or efficiently, not sticking together, not working long term, but 7am, they're doing it properly, and it shows. The level of Counter-Strike we've actually seen looks good, and having speaking to Emperor after the game as the coach, we can see we got insights into how the philosophy for the team and the way that they're confident in their own style of play and what they like to do.
Yeah, and what I'm curious about, Tim, to be honest, is the way the veto is going to go. As we mentioned before, they've played each other before, and we'll give you a quick reminder of what the maps were for that. Ancient was the pick out of 7am. Naturally, they absolutely love the map. Overpass was the pick out of the Neighbours, and then Nuke ended up being left over at the end of that. So it'll be interesting to see if they go for the same.
Yeah, I expect the same, especially after speed. I spoke to, I believe it was this morning, I spoke to Emperor and LVN, and they mentioned about how in the map vetoes they used to try and play around the opponent's map pool, but nowadays they've stopped that. They just play to their strengths. They don't care about what the other team's maps are. They'll play to what their favourites are, and that's why we see Ancient being picked so often for them, as it's their home map. It's what they're most comfortable with, and again, judging by what I think it was Vacancy as well said, they're unfazed, they're unbothered. They beat them before, and they want to just repeat it again.
And I think backing themselves,
Yeah.
crucially with that, is going to be really important for the confidence in the camp. So we're going to look to bring up the vetoes here and see exactly what maps have gone ahead from these two. So we see an ancient ban immediately at the Neighbours, taking that comfort pick away straight away. 7 a.m. That's their permaban Mirage.
Yeah.
So that's fairly. I mean that's expected.
And then
they haven't played that in
Overpass.
3 years.
Overpass, pick from the Neighbours. It makes sense. It was 16-14 for 7am the last time they played it.
Yep.
They recently just beat Next in Line on Overpass as well in a relatively close game with a good comeback. But it seems like it's a map they're very comfortable on. They seem to pick it in a lot of the best of threes Overpass. And again, they look a little bit more polished, a little bit more clean today. So maybe they'll be able to take it over the line. And another storyline coming into that Overpass, it was 11-1 in favour of 7am at the start of that game, and they almost brought it back. So again, if they're able to polish over those mistakes as well as adapting to 7am's playstyle on that map, they should be able to maybe take the first map.
The third, this is the second pick.
Yeah, the second.
7am's pick here, Nuke, which was the third map, was going to be the decider if it went to it in their previous series.
Yeah.
Instead, is the second map now. So we're definitely going to see Nuke. It'd be interesting to see what 7am have on it. They like to play it. They played it in their ESEA regular season
Second
3
most
times.
played
Their
map.
second most played map. So.
Again,
So
it's their home picks. Their home map gets taken out Ancient, so they go for their second most comfortable map, regardless of what the Neighbours want.
Yeah, the interesting thing about this veto as well is that in the previous veto, 7am had the first ban, where the Neighbours have had the first ban this time. So perhaps another reason why the veto is slightly different. Inferno ban out of the Neighbours, followed by an Anubis ban out of 7am.
And that puts on a Vertigo decider. Now, again, calling back to this upper bracket final, which played yesterday of 7am versus Neighbours, Vertigo was the first ban for the Neighbours. They didn't seem to want to play it, but this morning they decided to let Next in Line play it against them, and yeah, they won it in a relatively closer fashion.
Yeah, and of course that is the favourite pick of
Next in Line.
So
that's their favourite pick, and the Neighbours beat them on it. But the 7am, they had a much more convincing scoreline on Vertigo. So again, if it goes to a third, we're still going to see a clash, and I'm really excited to see what we get with these maps.
Yeah, the maps are exciting, and I like the fact that the veto is slightly different, actually. I think it's going to be an interesting test of 7am, because especially with their go-to map taken out of the pool like immediately, straight off the bat.
And it's something which can come into impact is that mentality. So as we mentioned before, the 7am players, they're a lot younger. Some of these players haven't played in finals before. We know LVN and Husky definitely have. They played in the EPIC39 final where they lost to Dusty. And both of those players have a lot of experience playing together at a higher level. Whereas the likes of Vacancy and Zai and Silence too, they're slightly lesser experienced. There's these young talents who have been brought up and taught by the likes of LVN and Emperor and trained together. Do they have what it takes to handle the pressure? Yes, this isn't a staged game. This is an Epic Summerland, so they're still playing the final at their PCs, at the desk they've been playing on for the whole weekend. So the pressure of being on a stage isn't there, but it's still a final.
It's still a final, and anyone who's left will be stood behind them watching.
Everyone's going to be stood right behind them, screaming, talking. It's going to be hard for them to even hear footsteps. So that could rattle them. It's going to be difficult for them to calm their heads. But that's where Emp comes in. Emp is one of the best coaches I've ever seen in the UK scene. I've not seen too many, I'll be honest. But what he does, it is so clinical. He adds structure to so many different things, and we've been standing behind them in the games, and what he does to calm 7am down, keep them mentally in the game, cannot be understated.
No, absolutely. Emp has a really great mind for not only the game, but also just team mechanics and team chemistry.
Yeah.
And it's something that's often underlooked as well. You see it a lot with teams that don't have a coach, and as soon as they lose a few rounds and a bit of tilt starts to step in, the in-game leader is trying to figure out strategically what's going on. He doesn't have time to then calm down the players often, and so it can become a spiral, and that's Emp's impact. And we had quite a length discussion with him last night about his philosophy to the team, and it's about making sure the players are set up as well as possible in order to perform, and it speaks volumes, I think, to the results that they've had.
As well, it's also about long-term. Like we keep mentioning this is 7am, they have long-term goals. So for them, winning this event, sure, they want to do that. But it's not the be-all and end-all if they don't. They're here to improve and learn and keep getting better and better and better, and results will then come from that. But in the meantime, Neighbours, they've got Shubi as a coach.
Yeah.
So again, Shubi, he's another experienced IGL. We got to speak to him as well last night. And one of the interesting things coming in, we asked him about the upper bracket final against 7am.
Yeah.
And he was saying found it quite easy to read what 7am were doing on Overpass, especially.
Mm-hmm.
But his players, they didn't seem to do anything about the reads that he was having.
Yeah, and when you've got a mixed team with a coach, with a bunch of players as well that are really highly experienced. Sometimes it can be very difficult.
They're all more experienced than Shuby as well. Yeah.
And which is unfortunate because despite him having those correct reads,
yeah,
the game went the other way because they weren't listened to.
Yeah. But again, today is a different day. The Neighbours, they looked good this morning, taking down Next in Line. It was a close game. By the end of the day, that the firepower came through, the experience came through, and it'll be interesting to see if that happens coming to this game.
Yeah, and I think one thing we've noticed in a lot of the Neighbours games as well is that they might go down a little bit in the early round, but the experience starts to kick in the mid to late round, and they end up winning a lot of situations where they're at a man disadvantage, 2-man disadvantage. Sometimes even it's like 1v.
The individuals can't be understated.
Yeah.
Or underestimated.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's so much strength on this roster. Just having a look at the stats from the previous series that 7am and the Neighbours played, it was extinct at the top, but this morning he had a bit of a mixed bag. He had a quiet vertigo and quite a strong overpass. No, the other way around. He had a
strong vertigo.
Strong vertigo and a quiet overpass. Whereas he was fairly consistent in the 7am Neighbours game earlier in the
That's
tournament.
another good point. So the games this morning, they're warmed up on vertigo and overpass, so they've got everything fresh in their minds. That they've got reps on the map. They're going to be warmed up and more aware of what they're going to be vulnerable to, because Next in Line would have tested them. Because it was a relatively close game, so Next in Line would have tested their defenses, tested their setups. So now they're going to have the time to be able to adapt to that. They've had a longer break since it was a 2-0, so they didn't have to play a third map. So during this break, the Neighbours perhaps being able to adjust and find adaptations to be able to assess what was where their weaknesses were and bring them into the 7am game.
The difference is, of course, 7am and Next in Line, both teams that will be in advance next season. 7am re-promoted out of main from the previous season. They've got a lot of advanced experience beforehand, whereas Next in Line going straight to advance from open. And when the two teams played each other, you could really see a big difference in the coordination and the cohesion between the two. And that might be partly because it's a Next in Line brand new roster, whereas the core of 7am is established.
Yeah.
But we noticed, especially when those two played each other earlier in the tournament,
it was very noticeable.
Very noticeable in the way 7am were much more on it with their economy management. They were much more on it with trading, playing
their
together,
spacing, and their game plan was always there. And as we saw when 7am and Next in Line played themselves against each other, the final map, Nuke, was a 16-3 landslide in the favour of 7am, and Next in Line looked really lost on it. I'll be honest, they looked like they had very little going for them. But again, this speaks more volumes to 7am and how prepared they are. They seem to always have a game plan and have an idea coming into this, and I doubt that they'll be overly confident or too confident coming into this, because they'll be ready.
Yes, absolutely. When I spoke with Emp right at the beginning of the tournament, he obviously said, of course the goal is to win it.
Yeah.
But top 4 is our minimum. They've beaten that now, and they're in the grand finals. And one very key piece of trivia, LVN, his highest placing at an Epic LAN ever is 2nd place. He's currently tied with that. So a win against the Neighbours today would be his first Epic LAN trophy.
Be first for all these players as well. So
yeah. But yeah, LVN he was joking around saying that I've secured my reputation second place after the game to get him into the final here.
But one thing to mention is 7am, they've all been given their own chairs. So their org owner brought fancy gaming chairs. So everyone else is going to be sat on little hostel chairs, little sort of hotel chairs. Whereas they've got fancy gaming chairs, and we try them. They are comfy, but they're not as comfy as Noble chairs.
Noble chairs, lovely. But enough of that. We're going to get into the game, because they're all in the server. They're ready to kick off the grand final here. EPIC39 will be going into the pistol round
of Overpass.
Let's have a look. Diffuse kit bought from LVN. 2 flashbangs, the rest of his team on Kevlar. The Neighbours opting for a smoke and a flash, and by the looks of it, they'll be heading towards mid, so perhaps a smoke for front toilets, perhaps a smoke for bank or stairs, but they've got to get there first. Silence spots Smooya exchanging shots, but that's allowing Extinct to close the distance as well.
He's
he needs
hanging
to
around.
back away. Extinct almost catches him, and Silence under a lot of pressure here. He needs to land a shot, does get one. Smooya spotted as well, tapping away, and rightfully retreats. Man advantage for 7am, and exactly, Silence can just back right away here. Guarantee that a teammate can come in and play trades, because if they trade out effectively here, it's a round win.
Yeah, the Neighbours slowing things down here in the 4 versus 5, seeing if they can work in the map control. Again, Overpass, it's a very big map, so there's a lot of space for them to have to cover before they even get close to their A site. In the meantime, 7am, they're able to rotate a player up to help Silence in the form of LVN with that flash, so maybe able to flash him in for a bit of information. Looks like he's actually falling off now, which is exactly when Smooya seems to be poking up long.
P250 so deadly at long ranges.
Yeah, putting a lot of faith in his own individual skill, spots out Silence.
And the flash, absolutely perfect. Allows Silence to get aggressive. The flash expires though, so he just goes into Banana instead, ripping heads away. There's only one player left for the Neighbours. Adam, 9130, left in a 1 versus 5, and 7am descend. Tapping away. Adam's going to get one, but immediately traded by LVN.
Yeah, but what brilliant composure from Silence there. The way he didn't overcommit to fighting Smooya. He fired like 1 or 2 shots at him and was like, well, he's no longer blind. I'm just going to go swing someone else who's not going to be ready for my swing. And he does it perfectly there. He gets 2 crisp 1-taps. Incredible round from Silence. And one thing I also want to bring into context for this is 7am again on overpass in the previous matchup. They went 11-1 up. And it was the Neighbours pick, meaning they started CT side. So it's 7am CT side on this map, which seems to be very strong. And what Neighbours struggled with in the previous match. But coming into this round, we see 4 MP9s brought up, which is good because the Neighbours, they've not invested anything. They've got no armor. So these MP9s with low armor penetration means that they're going to be able to farm a lot of bonus cash as the kill reward is higher for these MP9s.
Yeah, I mean, the Neighbours are a team that like a scrappy round, and they're not going to be too interested in building the loss bonus in order to have a full set of utility because of the firepower that they've got. They like to play to the hands of the firepower. And they're sticking together as a little bit of a pack here, which I like to see because it guarantees, or at least it doesn't guarantee, but it maximises the potential of getting a kill on just these pistols. Adam and Smooya both have P250s, the rest are on Glocks. So as long as 7am play this correctly, this should be an easy round to clean up, but there's a lot of space being given. Smooya now spotted 3 players on the A-bomb site to defend, and Pack spotted as well. Molotov goes down to delay them, splits them up, and it's a perfect, flawless round for 7am, building a lot of valuable economy.
Yeah, a lot of underestimated fact is that Counter-Strike is an economical game. The money game is so impactful, and it can decide so many rounds. And any damage that the Neighbours could have done to 7am there would have been useful for forcing the CTs to reinvest into weaponry, but they don't get anything done. Consequently, 7am, they keep these 4 MP9s. We'll see how Neighbours approach this, see if they can go for these longer range angles, but instead they're fighting fast through connector. Do you think to take mid B short control? They exchange with that entry, and Adam covers Silence, trying to get that trade. 2 opening picks, that's huge for the Neighbours on this first buy round. I think 7am, sorry. A really difficult situation.
The Neighbours are going for a boost as well. 7am.
Oh, the counter boost.
They went for a counter boost. Smooya, I think, heard it, but didn't spot it, so no kills found either way. And it's a nice adaptation from 7am. One thing while speaking to Emperor, he highlighted was the fact that everything that they have has protocols, that there are flowcharts for everything.
Seems like this boost isn't too far over there. I'm able to see barrels, but the jump spot, that's info and the tag. And the thing is, they've got the advantage, so the man advantage, so information just only goes into their favour. As that molly, it locks them out of the B site, but the Neighbours seem to still play it slow, play the advantage. They know that with the advantage, that as the clock goes down, more and more pressure is put on the CTs to try and level out the playing field. 2
SMGs going to join the rifle on A, and they're just going to stack the bomb site.
It's a good gamble stack.
Yeah, if the Neighbours go there, great. If not, no worries. Dobbo has gone down, and crucially,
that's an AK.
It's an AK upgrade.
Yeah, so one of those MP9s, there we go. Zai picks up the AK. So that's a rifle going into this next round, which is going to help the economy for 7am. This is also what you want to see. When you're in a 5 versus 3, especially if the Ts are playing slow and waiting for this aggression, instead of counter-aggressing, you just gamble stack on one site. Yeah. So you maximise your chances if they go to your site, and if they don't, you can save. You can use those weapons in the next round, especially if you would have ecoed otherwise. It does look like Neighbours pushing towards T-spawn. I don't think they'll hunt too aggressively. They've been looking a lot more disciplined as the tournament's been going on. Well, like we said, like the narrative goes, the only way Neighbours can lose this event is if they lose to themselves, if they let themselves lose. So if they play properly, which we know these players are capable of, then it's going to be a really difficult situation, really difficult for 7am to actually close this tournament out. After such an impressive upper bracket run too.
Yeah. LVN drops an M4 across. It was interesting, he opted to save in bank while his teammates went and hid away, just holding for an exit, hoping to upgrade. But
look at this buy. Thankfully, because of the save, it means they've got a better buy than they had last round. Because of those MP9s they saved over. Yeah, a little bit of mid-presence here for the Neighbours. Just pushing off Fountain, keeping 7am honest. They don't have an AWP to get these opening picks on A, which is so pivotal on Overpass. Instead, again, just playing it a little bit slow. Saving their util, which is, again, what you want to see. The map on Overpass is so big, and the T's have so many angles to clear that they have to burn so much util before they even get to the bomb site. So you have to be so effective with it and efficient in how you use it. And there you go, one flash, and they've cleared long toilets and behind the smoke. It's a lot of map control gained just for a $200 flash.
Yeah. Posturing towards A. But 2 players out here on long, and there's no AWP to hold the longer angles.
At 7am, they've got 3 players on this site. They're entrusting this B site defense and the lack of presence that the Neighbours have made at all towards B. So they've cheated 3 players over, and this is should be a strong site hold should the Neighbours come.
Yeah,
they've only got 1 smoke as well on Smoothia.
Overpass a map where the rotations are so quick, but also it's so glaringly obvious when a team isn't making any presence somewhere. As long as you've got somebody to have a peek, and the 2B players not hearing anything, means they can go for a really heavy stack here on the A bomb site.
This MP9 is in a perfect position as well. The flash in.
Oh, the shots are missed. But even still, the 2 players on the A bomb site, both trying to do kills of their own, but again, traded immediately back. And so the 2B players so far away.
That was a team flash. Vacancy
gone.
rotating in through CT, flashed over the truck, and that just blinded. I think it was Husky or Silence taking the fight, and Bev was able to get a brilliant shot. Zai does equalise, puts us down into a 2v2. The 2 T players on the Neighbours playing, buddying up, grouping up towards bank, maximising their trades. Is Vacancy going to be aware of this? Looks like he's a little bit conscientious.
He's only got 7 bullets left. He's going to miss a shot. Beve gets the kill. Zai left in a 1 versus 2. The bomb already halfway gone.
And they know where he is as well after getting that pick earlier.
He should probably just save the gun. Oh, nice headshot. And in fact, the Molotov, he misses the throw. Gobbo. He's still got it.
Does he have time? Oh,
no.
So close. Zai, such a sick clutch. Such a nice attempt there from Zai, almost gets them down, but crucially, that's a lot of damage done for both sides' economies.
Yeah, no, it really
The Neighbours
is.
having to reinvest everything, which means their money is on the brink of collapse. The CT is on the other hand, due to having to invest so much in the previous round, losing 2 rounds in a row, it looks like they should be going for some sort of eco buy or half buy. Silence and Zai with a lot in the bank.
Yeah, they're taking a tack pause just to discuss exactly what they're going to do with this money, I imagine. Get Emp in there, get his insight.
Yeah, again, it's something we mentioned in the pre-game. It's something which coaches. One of the great things about BYOC is that you can stand behind the players, you can see what the coach's impact actually has, which you don't really get to see much in the server, or at least be able to attribute it to. But yeah, Zai going for this M4. That's interesting. I think they've got they've only got a 2-round loss bonus, so they're going to go for a double eco.
It's a really strange investment, though, because they're still keeping some money in the bank, which I like to see.
Yeah, they're not investing down to 0. By keeping some in the bank, it means that when they do go for that buy round after the inevitable eco that comes after this, if they lose, then they'll be able to get a good buy. So they've done the maths, basically.
Yeah, and that's a nice way to open. Zai, so when you've got
sandbags.
Just 1 rifle saved, you want to set that rifle up for success as much as possible, and a boost like that's perfect. It's such a rarely seen boost, because it invites so much of a
They're so exposed.
Commitment.
It's so easy for that boost to go down from a player, just like Adam. He just walked up short dry. Play could be on short, play could be on connector, but that's the M4 getting taken down crucially. Adam, he knows their money's weak, and he's just farming against his unarmed opponents.
Yeah, LVM picks up the M4, and he's unable to get the kill as well. Adam up on 3. That's a really nice save. Dobbo as well, taking Silence down. It's just Husky left with a 5-7.
Especially after such a nice opening, just all crumbles down as Adam slips past the defense.
Husky in toilets. Just begging for somebody to walk into the 5-7. So he can land a headshot. But the Neighbours playing it tight.
Yeah, again, the Neighbours' money isn't good. Any gun they lose here, they have to reinvest. And crucially, as the T's, you want to build your bank. Because the better your bank is, the more you can hunt. The more you can hunt, the more you can destroy the CT's economy, which is much more fragile. And when I say hunt, I mean hunt for those eco kills, hunt for the people saving.
Husky able to survive with the Kevlar. He could go for a cheap reinvestment into a helmet as well, but the Neighbours are fully upgraded. Smooth's on the AWP as well. The first AWP we've seen out so far. And it's just going to be against pistols. There's potential for him to get run down. So he's got to be careful.
As we mentioned before, yeah, they've got lots of money left over 7 AM thanks to not completely investing last round. So next round they will have a very healthy buy. Be interesting to see how the Neighbours approach this round.
Ooh, nice flash.
Especially going into the close ranges of Connector, where they've got 2 players using these 5.7s. Zai again with another opening.
Yeah,
Trading.
1-for-1 with Beve. Able to pick up the AK as well.
But that's also the B lurk. They should know that as well after playing this experience. And Husky takes down the bomb and the AWP.
And Extinct as well. Fires off a few shots, spotted. Husky able to play around now with this smoke. Extinct spamming to try and make sure that Husky doesn't get anywhere through it. Smoke of his own to try and isolate that bomb. In the meantime, Adam's making his way at Banana. Spots LVN on the corner. So aware for Zai's presence as well. LVN baiting as hard as he can. And now he's running away to try and buy as much time for his teammates to rotate. And they have to hunt him down here. Extinct and Adam both working as a pack. Man advantage retained.
This is so well played by the Neighbours. The way they just grouped up.
Husky and Silence left. And Husky's got that AWP. I think unless they're granted a kill here, that AWP's going to be such a major asset to their economy. There goes Silence doing more damage. And Adam's low, actually. 1 headshot. That'll be all it needs. Extinct's gone down. And another tag dealt. Lots of damage.
Close
no
range angles on the bank are so
Oh,
difficult to deal with. And that leg, that damage means that Husky only needs to shoot the leg to get the kill. And that's now down to a 1 versus 1.
The bomb's planted for Bank. And Dobbo's on the other side. Head spotted.
Oh.
Husky unable to cross. He's caught in transition.
That's so unfortunate there. But I love what the Neighbours did there. They played that so well together, just grouping up as a pair. They didn't rush the bomb plant. They cleared their angles together because they knew they had plenty of time to do that. Adam and Extinct, incredibly well played. Just buddying up and they clear long, clear LVN. Then they get the bomb down and then they clear Bank, which is what it's planted for. But again, it got a bit hairy because Bank, such a close range angle, the 5.7 did a lot of damage there. But crucially, now we see a buy round coming out for 7 AM again. And Neighbours, up to 4 rounds, is already better than they did in the first half of Overpass, the first time these teams faced in this tournament.
Yeah, the Neighbours looking scarier on Overpass. Seems like they've been plugging some of the holes. And look at this push from Adam. So aggressive up long, just finding the gaps.
He's so confident. He's doing so well as well. He's up to 7 and 4, but that flash. The team flash, it seems like, not even a team flash, sorry, the CT flash. 7am are aware of this. They've rotated, they've taken short control, which means they're allowed to rotate their third player over this A site, who's LV in the form of LVN, watching long. Again, a second flash. They're so aware of this.
Yeah, and crucially, that flash baits out the shots from Adam, so the location completely revealed and forced to back way into Husky, but the timing is horrendous. Dobbo gets the kill in the side of the head. Husky not ready for it at all. Silence is able to trade, so back into a 4 versus 4. The utility at the moment favouring the Neighbours completely.
Yeah, but quite frankly, they've got short control. Vacancy is alone here, so as soon as he gets contact here, it's going to cause a lot of chaos.
He's not.
There's no trade.
That's big.
There's no one near.
Yeah, Vacancy's location revealed, but even still, that's going to be so difficult for the Neighbours because they've got that short control completely lost. Beve in, team flashed, and Zai able to capitalise, taking him down. 2 players remain for the Neighbours against 4.
It's Adam and Smooya. 2 of the most tenured players on the server right now.
Yeah, if you want anyone in a clutch, it's them. But Smooya trying to fade the smoke will go down. Adam gets 1 on LVN. Zai spotted. Needs to try and bait as much time because Adam, perfectly capable of ripping heads off himself, and he gets another one into a 2 versus 2.
But Vacancy, the confidence. Again, I spoke to him early this morning, and he seemed completely unfazed about facing the Neighbours today. And as we see, that confidence swing, even against Adam, who's having such a good game right now. He's 9 and 5, but it's not enough. 3 and 4, 3 to 4 now. 7 AM. Do get another round, but the damage was good from Adam there, which means that 7 AM they're going to have to invest a lot.
Yeah, tack pause taken. And the Neighbours, the money's not good, and
yeah, that's true. The money's not good for them either.
Extinct's got Mac 10. A lot of utility. And
I like this though. So they should know that 7 AM's money is weak. So by going for this force buy, it basically means the winner of this round gets 2 rounds. Yeah. So the worth, it's risk reward. The risk may still be high because their money is bad and what they're coming into this round is pretty poor. But the reward is twice as high because it's worth 2 rounds essentially because it forces the other team to eco.
Yeah. It looks like B will be the play. They're setting up for a HE stack onto where Vacancy's jump spotting. This could be horrific. And there it is, the kill for free at the start of the round. Nobody has to look at anybody.
Getting revenge on Vacancy for that wide swing. That's a big opening pick, which means it's a rifle going down as well.
Yeah.
So it's going to make it even easier for these MAC-10s and this Tech 9 to swarm the sites.
And the thing is as well, like normally you see a nade stack like that. Normally it's with 3 nades to really guarantee that if somebody's just a little bit further away, but it's dead accurate.
Yeah.
Vacancy goes straight. Dan Dobber's taking a bit of damage. Was that spam damage?
I'm not
Oh
sure,
my
but it looks like
goodness,
they're
set
fading
up.
the smoke. So unfortunately timed. The T's, they were just closer to the centre. I mean, they get vision first, and they just mow them down. It's all down to Husky.
Oh,
Managed
Husky
to get down
with
2. And that leaves Silence in 1 versus 3 with the AWP.
So
But look
far
how far removed he is. He's got to save. As again, we mentioned, 7 AM's money. It's in the bin.
Yeah, that fade in the smoke was so unfortunate. It's the fact that they've got 2 players there, which usually, if there's normally 1, maybe 2 players on the other side of that. The Neighbours were stacking up for an execute. There's 4, and so I mean, they're just a numbers game.
Even then, it's one of the things with the monster smoke you quite often see. If you throw it from spawn, you throw it from at the start of the round, or you throw it from a lineup from across the map, it lands really close to the T side of monster, which is good in the early round. But you want it to be nice and close to you as a CT if you re-smoke, because that means you've got that you've got much more room to play with that smoke, and it means the T's can't walk out. And quite frankly, we saw exactly what happened. The T's close to the smoke, they fade it, and they win those fights, especially with those Mac 10s as well.
Yeah, it's as you mentioned at the start, it's a big money round, and it's not looking amazing for 7am, and they opt for an eco around the AWP. I'd like to see them try and set this up.
Yeah, similar to how they did when Zai got that hero M4. They did that triple boost towards the sandbags, which is such a... No player is going to be aware of that boost. It happens so infrequently because of how exposed you are. But when it does happen, it nets you such a good kill. But instead, it seems like Silence playing quite passively here.
Yeah,
He is
bit
grouped
of a
up towards B. Scoped up towards short. It looks like maybe trying to counter the B presence that Neighbours have been conditioning the last few rounds. In the meantime, the AWP of Smooya, he's getting up nice and close. Oh, Adam, that's a big spam. Husky, so unfortunate, not having the greatest... I say he's not having the greatest start. He's 9-5, but does seem to be he is getting caught off guard a bit too often.
LVN, everyone along behind the rock, misses the first shot, and that's all you're going to get against a team like this.
Again, it's the trades.
Yeah.
Extinct and Adam just buddying up towards A, and every single fight they take, it's 2 of them. It's a 2 versus 1 fight constantly. So hard for 7am to deal with, especially if Silence on this AWP, he's not getting these opening picks. Not punishing them for taking things dry.
Yeah, and you know, we mentioned setting him up. He's just been stacked on the B bomb side.
Yeah, it's a really good read from the Neighbours here. Basically, the AWP excels so much towards that A site, and they know that 7am know that. So 7am is likely going towards that B site with that AWP to just try and mix things up, get an opening pick towards the smaller site. But Neighbours, yeah, they're just like, well, that's fine. We can just play the trade game.
Yeah, the good news is at least that there are 2 pistols to help defend the AWP, but it's just USPs.
Yeah, I don't think the Neighbours will hunt too aggressively here. Again, their money's not amazing. Seems to be sending Extinct and Adam grouping up together. HE. And Extinct gets Extinct down, so actually Smooth's coming in for the hunt as well.
Yeah, they really want to take this AWP away. They know that it's not gone down. And that smoke actually locks them out.
But yeah, the calling really good from the Neighbours here. Again, we're not sure if... Oh, there goes Vacancy, but that was only a USP, yeah. Not sure if Adam or Smooya is calling this game. As we mentioned earlier, Smooya at the start of this tournament was the one calling. But Adam, he's having such a stellar game right now, 11-6. Just pushing in with Extinct, trade fragging everything. Meantime, 7am struggling to get these openings. It looks like they're going heavy towards A to try and shut down some map control and some presence. Give themselves an upper hand at the start of the round.
Long again. There's no one in to trade him.
But he's been hurt.
Silence has gone down as well, and he's been hurt. It's 2 kills going immediately the way the Neighbours.
Extinct and Adam. So much damage.
They've committed 4 players towards A right at the beginning of the round, and they've still come out with a man disadvantage.
None of the players were blind. Extinct just so confident to barrel his way up into the balloons. And that position just catches the rest of the players off guard. Here's the steps from LVN. So the Neighbours completely aware of what was going on. And the set for 7am wasn't strong enough to guarantee trades, guarantee crossfires. Instead, it just leaves Zion vacancy. 2 young guns high fragging power, and with Smooya missing shots like this, just going to give 7am more and more opportunities to try and claw this round back in their favour.
Zai's still on B, and it looks like Beve's going to try and lurk his way out here.
Yeah.
A fight which could decide the round.
Again, the Neighbours here splitting up a lot. Now, because they've split up so far, that means they can play the information game, but at the same time, it doesn't maximise the trade potential.
Oh, Beve's just lurking in jail.
I think he's just going to wait here for an overextension. The clock ticking down, a lot of noise for Smooya.
Molotov's going to reveal the intentions of the Neighbours. Beve now starting to move up means Zai should be able to activate, but Beve's going to get the kill. Yeah, really nice headshot. Vacancy left so far removed now in a 1 versus 3. He should be saving again.
Yeah, he managed to pick up the AWP off Silence's dead body. Again, they're saving the AWP constantly, but we don't seem to see the AWP having very much impact so far on this map.
Yeah, the AWP really doesn't seem to be doing much, and they keep saving it at least, so they've got the
opportunities,
to use it,
yeah.
But so far we haven't seen it set up to get any picks.
Yeah, definitely not. It seems like Silence opting to play a lot more passively or reactively in this game. It would be nice to see them sort of put a spanner in the works for Neighbours. Again, the Neighbours are a mix. While yes, they are experienced, they're not going to have any drills or set protocols. So if you put a spanner in the works, it's going to be really difficult. They're going to have to rely on their expertise, their experience, and their comms to finish off the late rounds, especially when they have a disadvantage.
Yeah. Full buy out of both teams. Smooya back on the big green. Silence has been dropped the AWP over from Vacancy as well. There are a couple of pieces of util from here.
Look how fast this is.
Overall, it's all right. And Silence this time in a good position, but the shoulder peak, just the leg spotted, and he's immediately clicking.
Yeah, the Neighbours coming in with a lot more confidence now to go a little bit faster towards A. It seems like 7am, again, not wanting to contest. They tried it the previous round, didn't go in their favour. Instead, they're just splitting up on this A site.
Husky's in a nice off angle here. He should be able to get one and fall back. And the flash is coming in. Oh, Smooya spots the leg. Yeah, tagged through the wall. Husky now down on just 16 HP.
The things that the util being used to clear the angles isn't thorough from the Neighbours. They're not scared of just fighting Silence. Silence isn't there to stop them.
Yeah, it seems like they're avoiding him at every opportunity, and caught. I mean,
caught off guard. It's this A-site defense for 7am. It's just a little bit disjointed. They seem a little bit lackluster to be able to be proactive.
Yeah, and what's so different about this is the fact that this seems different to the way that they've been playing all tournament.
Definitely, but we do have a silver lining coming into this round. They've taken short control, and that means they're able to stack 3 of their players onto the site. But this Molly's, it's so methodical, slowly clearing everything. A 1-4 trade only goes in the favour of the T's. Again, 2 for 2 now. Yeah. This leaves Zai alone on the site. Does get taken down. A vacancy on the flanks. Muse should be ready for this. Might get caught off guard with a grenade out.
It's getting to the point where they need some big clutch plays, and that Vacancy unable to deliver. It's now 8-3. The Neighbours are on an absolute storm.
Yeah, as we mentioned, it seems almost like Silence is avoiding the Neighbours.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like. It seems like wherever the Neighbours go, Silence just runs away to the other side. And then consequently, he's getting caught off guard. Husky the same. He's doing his best, but he's in just situations where he's going down 1 for 1. And even then, again, when he regresses, he's also getting caught off guard. Seems like attack pause coming for 7am, so we'll see what Emp can muster up in the comms.
Yeah, he's going to have to work some magic here, Tim, because it's not looking good.
Yeah, and as we know, Emperor, not a magician.
No.
He's a man of logic, not a man of fantasy.
And there is.
But can LVN achieve his fantasy of finally winning an EPIC39 trophy?
That is the question. There's so much money on the Neighbours now. I think they'd probably, as long as they keep a few people alive each round, they'll be good to buy for the rest of the
They look so much more composed than they did on day one. As we casted them, even against the bin men, yes, it was a 16-4 win, but we keep saying this. The Neighbours looked shaky. Yeah. They certainly don't now, though. They've shaken off any shakiness, as it were.
Yeah. LVN on a rifle. He is the only rifle in this round, and
it's just a contact play here. Grouping up, trading. The flash into the site is perfect. Vacancy fully blind. That's taken down the site. Ooh, we got 2 opening kills. We've got 3 kills with the USPs.
What's going on? Smooya's able to get one just with the Molotov back, but so far, all the gunfights have gone the way of 7am. Vacancy doing absolute God's work from barrels.
And that's only with the pistols. LVN's M4 hasn't even come into play yet.
Yeah, Dobbo having to be so diligent now. Husky going down, and the trade potential here from these two players. They swing out, but Smooya and Dobbo both get kills. It leaves LVN left in a 1 versus 2 from suddenly a 2-man advantage. Yes, it's only on pistols, but the Neighbours able to recover.
Again, it's that tenure, that experience coming in.
LVN out.
It's that experience coming in for the Neighbours. They lose a couple picks and then they slow things down. Instead of rushing into trade thinking, oh, they're ecos, my teammate's gone down, I've got to trade, they just freeze. They don't want to get caught getting in a chaotic round. Chaos, it goes in the Pistols' favours, okay? As much as the Pistols still are unfavoured, you want to minimise the amount of possibilities those Pistols have to catch you off guard. So they just sit there, freeze, let the CTs have to make the next move, even though they got the man disadvantage, and it goes in their favour as, again, those Pistols struggling to do anything.
It's back to this assertive B play now. They're changing it up, the Neighbours, and Extinct with a lovely opening, just storming through Monster and taking Zai out the round immediately.
But it seems at the same time...
Extinct's so close. He's going to be able to swing out here. Vacancy's not ready for it. Never mind. He swings around. LVN's taken Beve out on the boost as well. This is really nice awareness and a man advantage.
I was literally about to say that it was such a nice play. The Monster presence coming in to distract and get the attention of the B-side defenders whilst the boost was coming on short. But they're ready for it. LVN's just sat there holding the boost and takes him down. And now Adam and Smooya, again, left in a 2 versus 4. But, again, they've got 6 rounds to work with here. And I'm sure they could pull something out. And the money, it's not good for 7am. So any kill they get here, again, will cause 7am to have to reinvest. If they take down at least 2 rifles, that means they're going to have to be a compromise.
And Adam and Smoo's record so far in clutches this game is pretty good. This is a really nice flank, though. Husky making sure...
He came from Connector as well.
Yeah. And Adam
they're
still
so
ready
aware.
For it. Yeah. But Husky's still able to get the kill, which leaves Smooya now in a 1 versus 4. He's got the AWP, but he's in such a tough spot. Husky breathing down his neck. His only choice is to go forward.
Scoped up with this AWP, it's so difficult for him to flick between angles to hold, and he gets overwhelmed. LVN, the IGL of 7am, does get that last kill, and yeah, that was such a brilliant defense for 7am. As we mentioned before, the idea was there for the Neighbours. They had such a good idea, the presence, they got the opening pick towards Monster. They get all that attention as well with Extinct even committing to the site, with the boosts coming in to try and shoot them in the side of the head.
Yeah, and
but they're aware of it. It's just these small details for 7am which put them above the likes of the rest of the teams.
And this is what I like to see. Silence getting proactive now.
Yeah.
Taking a pick in middle, and
there
it is.
go.
Smooya, the AWP on AWP. Silence comes out on top. Extinct getting so aggressive. Silence missing the shot. He almost gets traded there. It's a bit of a problem because he's got nowhere to fall back to.
He does have a teammate coming in to support him, but he can just take the fight dry, but Bev's holding him down. He's pinned down. There's no flashes. We need to see something to help him out there. Maybe a double peek towards long would have been perfect, but...
Yeah. Husky in a nice position, but the flash is perfect. Extinct, as free as you like. Husky just holding left click and praying that Extinct's going to walk into the crosshair. And it doesn't happen, so man advantage now for the Neighbours. Their util, not fantastic, but they still have 3 smokes. And compared to 7am, it still looks quite good. Vacancy again up in Connector. He's on this angle on the railing. He's been there so many times. He caught Dobbo off last time. If Dobbo opts to go for this again, surely he's ready for it.
But the thing is, even in... LVN pushing. You know that B is clear, but LVN deciding to regress towards long despite having all the information that is likely to be A.
And now, yeah.
It's just a gamble play now. That they've only got 2 rifles left in the 2 versus 4. Just go all in on that B site. If they go A, let them have it, which is fair.
Yeah, keep the rifles up for the next round because they should just about be able to scrape a buy with the money that they've got.
Yeah.
But the issue at the minute is the round count. It's all very well and good you're saying, yeah, we can get a buy-in.
But I have to say for the last round.
Yeah.
Again, I want to highlight, yes, Silence got that opening, but the team play was better for the Neighbours.
And in fact,
there was no one there to help Silence fall out. Husky came towards long to support him, but Silence smoked himself off long. They perhaps could have tried to go for a double peek shutdown Extinct towards long, but instead he just walks dry towards the front of toilets, where he just gets picked off by Bev. All he needed was a team flash from B or something, just to put the crosshair off from Bev, but it wasn't there.
I want to talk about openings for a second as well, because this match, just like the top 4 for this event on HLTV, and looking at the HLTV page for this game live as we speak, it's a couple of rounds delayed, but that's fine. The opening duels at the minute. So currently, opening duels wise, 7am have won 4. We contrast that to the Neighbours.
Who've won 9.
They've won 9. So there's
They're 9
such
to
a
4 in
disparity.
openings. Yeah, that's almost identical to the round difference on this slightly delayed feed that we're getting from HLTV. But again, 10 to 4. And even more openings coming in. So
Yeah,
10 rounds for the Neighbours. This is looking really impressive. They're looking so much. I would argue they look more drilled than 7am do right now.
yeah, and it's.
But again, Neighbours are the mix. 7am aren't.
Yeah. And again, a lot of it comes down to that AWP as well. Oh, just straight through with a flash. The Neighbours being so aggressive, but doing it with correct utility usage. Vacancy able to trade, but again, Dobber through
trading.
connector.
They're still bodied up in connector, so even if Dobber didn't get that one, there was another one to trade him to secure that man advantage. Dobber here sprinting up towards front of toilets. He should be heard from Husky that he's sprinting up.
There it is. That's a free kill. Equalises the numbers.
That's also information gathered. Not too much, though, as we know Husky is the A-site player. If it was LVN he ran into, you could say, yeah, that's the rotator. That means Husky's likely to still be on A as well, so you'd think, okay, there's only one B. But no, that's the A anchor, so not really much to be gained from that information. Looks like the Neighbours, though, they are starting to group up. This is what you want to see. Now, yes, they don't have a man advantage. It's even. But as the CTs, you've still got to defend the same amount of ground, so your defense is split up more. So it's really good to see them group up, maximising the trade potential, because again, if they trade 1-for-1-for-1, they should still win this out.
The issue is the AWP and the rifle both down here on B, and Silence.
Look how close they've gotten.
Yeah, they've gotten up so close. Husky has just one flash to try and delay the Neighbours as much as possible. Jumping through the smoke with an underhand flash, he gets through. It's a beautiful set of kills. Just transferring the headshots with the AK, and that means Smooya left in a 1 versus 2. 20 seconds left to plant the bomb against 2, and he's going to opt to push. He's getting aggressive. He wants to get this first kill before he even attempts a plant. But the crossfire looks really good here. LVN goes down. Smooya not ready for Silence to swing out. But the AWP scope heard. The shot lands. Silence gets 7am by the skin of their teeth up on 5 rounds.
Such a close round. Heroics coming up from Husky, flashing through the smoke, catches the double spray down. So unfortunately for the Neighbours, they played that really well, I have to admit. 2 players walking up with the trade potential onto the site and the flash as well to try and secure them at that site from the 3rd player. But Husky, he fortunately got into a safe position and was able to shut them down with a very sick play. And now it's 5 rounds apart. 5 rounds is doable. But again, we saw that 7am's T side, they really struggled against the Neighbours on Overpass. Only just managed to close it from a couple of heroics from Vacancy, who he himself isn't having the loudest game on the server.
Looks like it might be quite a quick pistol round here. Damage dealt onto Silence immediately. LVN has a full set of utility. Smoke 2 flashes and a Molotov. Smoo's got the headshots. Vacancy taken down immediately. Trying to take some sewer control. And that gives the Neighbours at least an indication of where 7am might end up.
As well.
Yeah, Silence has gone down. Already disadvantaged. This utility might not even be able to be used effectively because there's no players left to act on it.
We know that 7am, they love set plays on the pistols. They always have a set pocket play on the pistol with a util set from LVN. But if you get a couple of those opening picks, that means there's not enough players to carry out that strat. And as we see, they still do attempt it, walking onto the site, but it's stacked. They're up against so much here.
Yeah, LVN left.
And the trades, as soon as they got the man advantage, the trades just go the way of the Neighbours. And at 5-11, Neighbours, a really important pistol round to win, as the CTs, the T's not even a bomb plant either. Yeah.
That kill on Silence in middle gave them so much information, led them to rotate, stack that B bomb side with 4 players. And there were only 3 left on 7am. The utility can't be used effectively because ultimately there aren't enough players, there aren't enough bodies to go in.
Yeah, or you take the players down, they can't run the strat that they want, simple as. But we do see a really fast round coming up for 7am, wanting to swarm, use the man advantage, not the man advantage, the numbers at least to overwhelm someone, but it's not enough. The crossfire is too good, and not even a single kill. A lot of these kills coming in through on the MP9 as well. Yeah, 5-12. This is looking incredibly one-sided so far.
It really is. The one silver lining was that Smooya got 3 of those kills, 2 on the M4, 1 on the pistol, so only 2 on the MP9.
Yeah, but that's just confidence building for Smooya. If Smooya gets going, he's probably the heaviest hitter on this server, or in theory.
And it's a buy out of Team 7am here. Moved in, taking a bit of sewer control. Silence just lurking out here on A, on his own.
You look a heavy B lean for the Neighbours here, but similarly, a heavy B default for 7am. They take short control. Only 1 player just making a little bit of presence towards A. And it seems, I think that smoke also hit a player, so maybe that's some information gathered. Meantime, the boost is coming out, and that's almost a 2nd kill as well. That's so much information, so much damage, which 7am hope. Vacancy just gives away that advantage. Yeah, trying to capitalise on the chaos.
Zai did so well up on that boost to recognise when the moment of surprise ended and fell off. And then Vacancy, going through that smoking monster, just hands the man advantage straight back to the Neighbours. Yes, there's damage on Extinct, but ultimately the numbers are equal.
And again, I bring it back to the pre-game vacancy. When we spoke to him, he said he was unfazed about this game. He was unfazed about any sort of form the Neighbours could be coming back into, and I dare say he's wrong. That looks phased to me.
Yeah.
Just walking through the smoke, trying to capitalise on something is unneeded. You've got a man advantage and so much damage onto Extinct.
It seemed like a really unnecessary overextension, and 7 AM gonna have a difficult job to crack open the bomb site. LVN comes out, Adam gets the first kill, but again immediately traded. Zai doing really nicely to get that trade, but Extinct trades it right back. And this time, it's a man advantage for the Neighbours. And now, the CTs are swarming in. Smooya firing away at range.
Spray.
Yeah, the spray just takes him down. There's no util to keep him off that bomb site.
Extinct doing well to get 2 as well. 5 HP that entire time with an MP9. Just 7 AM, again, they lose that pick, that advantage that they gained so early on, and then from that point the round crumbles. The trading wasn't exactly there, not as good as it could have been at least.
No.
Again, looking a little bit, I want to say shell shocked 7 AM from the performance coming from the Neighbours.
And the investment now in this round as well is low. The Neighbours looking like they'll be getting 14, and it's only pistols. The money in tatters.
Are they going to be? Is Bev going to be ready on the timing for the place to swing out?
Where's the trade? Needs to come quick. Look, it's just one by one by one. Bev,
he's able to
isolate 1v1 fights. He can reset.
It's not even a continuous spray. He's able to stop spraying before he sees another person.
Yeah, he lets the recall completely reset and then just goes in for the next one. LPN tapping away with the Tech 9, unable to land the kill on Dobbo. It's just vacancy in a 1 versus 5 with a D.
See what damage he can do. Any damage they can do is a silver lining. Again, as we mentioned, Dobbo, Smooth going down previously, but yeah, it's not enough Bev with the 4K. Having a stellar game now. We were singing the praises of Extinct and Adam previously in the first half, but Bev, he's crept up there. He's now up to 18 kills.
Yeah, it looks so lackluster from 7 AM, a team that we've been praising all tournament for getting the fundamentals right. And it seems like it's going the other way. Smooya with another opening kill. Husky going down, he's sticking around, which could be to his detriment, but 7 AM not looking to charge him down. They're rapid.
Yeah.
And whereas before we saw on the other side, Silence stuck around a little bit too long, and Extinct was able to get right up close and punish him for being too greedy. And now, it's perfect. Adam still able to get the trade.
The spray just wasn't there for vacancy. Really unfortunate. He got the timing, but the hero plays is what 7M need right now. LVN does manage to get a pick towards long. Spots out Smooya as well, perhaps overextending a little. Neighbours, they don't want to give away this advantage, because anything they give away, 7AM will gladly take, as they so desperately need it right now.
Yeah. Zai, one of the young guns on the roster. Not got any utility here. It's just going to come down to, again, raw firepower. His in-game leader comes and joins him. He's got one smoke.
Oh, it's missed.
Can't be missing those smokes. Molotov missed as well.
If that smoke lands, Smooth's blocked off, and the molly stops him from pushing out behind it. But instead, Smooth's just able to get a double kill, thanks to a missed smoke. It's just 7M. They're looking so flustered, so shell shocked. They look more like a main team that we'd expect. Like what we'd expect from a main team, not a team who looked like they were rocking it up into advanced with style.
Yeah, I mean LVN, known for having really good utility knowledge. A stairs smoke and a stairs molly, some of the fundamental overpass smokes, and he's missed them. And another opening, yet again. Husky goes down, Smooya tearing away with the Orphan, a leg dealt LVN as well. Vacancy finally able to trade one, but it's just... Well, like Smooya's getting these openings every round now.
Yeah, this is the thing though. The Neighbours, they look so strong. They're now playing with confidence, and it's giving Smooya the confidence to play and be that X factor, create a little bit of chaos to make 7AM unable to predict what's going on. Because again, Smooya, that X factor with that AWP, he's so skilled, so strong, and now he's just going to start giving it to them. But the setup is just way too strong.
16-5.
16-5. Not a single. 7AM, they barely put up a fight on that map.
Yeah, all I can say is it's a really disappointing first map to the grand final. Flat, yeah. Considering we built this up, these were the two favourites coming into the tournament. 7 AM they dropped one map until this game.
They looked so solid, taking on so composed as well. The way they played was so brilliant, and the way it was calculated. They looked so clean and polished, but not now. They looked, as I mentioned, a shell of their former selves.
Yeah, the Neighbours with a great turnaround as well. They've had their sleep, they've had their rest. They're looking much more composed. They're playing together, and that's scary if we're going into the second map, which is Nuke.
Yeah, it's the
Luckily,
map pick
7
of
AM 's
7
map
a.m.
pick. Yeah.
Hopefully, we're going to see some sort of turnaround. Emperor give them a pep talk, assess their issues, and we really want to see a much stronger game coming out from 7 a.m. on Nuke.
Yeah, it'd be a shame for the EPIC39, sponsored by Intel final, to be a 2-0 with not even any pushback. So hopefully when we come back with Nuke, we'll have a much stronger game. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, Overclockers, and welcome. Screw this. Where's EPIC when you